Hello and welcome to this module on the effects of salt on the body. So, what exactly is salt? The chemical name for salt is sodium chloride. For use in our food, it comes from two main sources, seawater and the mineral halite or rock salt. So, with salt, is it friend or foe? It's a question I get asked quite a lot, but it's actually a little bit of both. Too much salt will have a detrimental effect on the body, and too little can equally have a bad effect and even more serious outcomes in a short space of time. In the following slides, we'll explore how the body uses salt and what happens if we consume too much or too little. So first of all, how our bodies use salt. Salt, or in brackets I put here sodium, is an essential nutrient, but it is one the body cannot produce itself. It's got many vital functions in the body and cells. It is contained in our fluids that transport oxygen and nutrients. It is vital to maintain fluid balance within our body, and it also controls your taste, smell, and your tactile functions. It is an essential electrolyte, along with magnesium, potassium, and calcium. There will be a further show on electrolytes, just to explain a little bit more about what an electrolyte actually is in another module. An electrolyte regulates electrical charges, basically moving in and out of our cells. Sodium is needed within muscles to enable contractions, including the biggest and most important muscle, the heart. It's also fundamental to the signals to and from the brain. So what happens if we consume too much salt or sodium? In the short term, water retention, bloating, rise in blood pressure, and intense thirst. In the long term, rise in blood pressure again, increased risk of stomach cancer, heart disease, and even premature death. What happens if we don't get enough salt or sodium? The following are risks of not having enough salt in the body, or risks for people on low salt sodium diets. So it may increase your insulin resistance, increased risk of death from heart failure, may raise bad cholesterol and triglycerides in the body, increased risk of death to those with diabetes, and a risk of hyponatremia, low sodium levels in the blood. How much is ideal? Adults should eat no more than 6 grams of salt a day, which is 2.4 grams of sodium. That's around 1 teaspoon, and that's total for the day. Children aged 1 to 3 should eat no more than about 2 grams of salt. 4 to 6 years should eat no more than 3 grams. You can see next to there, I've put the actual sodium amounts as well. 7 to 10 years should eat no more than around 5 grams of salt a day. And 11 years and over should eat no more than 6 grams of salt a day. So that's in line with roughly an adult. Babies should not eat much salt because their kidneys are not fully developed to process it. Babies under 1 year old should have less than 1 gram of salt a day. And if a baby is breastfed, they will get the right amount of minerals, including sodium, from breast milk. And also formula milk contains a similar amount of minerals to breast milk. So balance and label checking. As covered in previous modules, it's important to check the labels. Salt is now listed on the front of the labels, if you remember. So here in the UK, salt is included on the front of all the labels. It's a traffic light system going from green to red. Remember, processed meats, ready meals, and things like crisps contain large amounts of salt, so it's always worth checking on those. Here's a little random fact to finish up on. If any of you take those effervescent vitamin C tablets, the large tablets that you can get, they can contain up to 1 gram of salt per tablet. So one vitamin C tablet potentially gives an adult a fifth of the RI, the recommended intake of salt. So as with most things in our diets, it's all about balance. Check your labels and just keep a check on what you're doing. Thanks very much for listening, and I'll speak to you in the next module.